all for joining us. This is Real Life Real Estate Investing's first Facebook Live event that we're going to be doing on a weekly basis. We're actually going to be doing this at lunchtime on Wednesday. So it'll be lunchtime learning. Basically, we're going to talk about all things real estate. And for the most part, we'll have wise people such as Mr. Kito Johnson come on and share some nuggets of knowledge with us and wisdom to talk about things that are related to real estate and some things that are not directly related to real estate as it relates to building financial wealth, leaving generational wealth, and just all around ways of being able to help people grow as entrepreneurs and as people that are wanting to start businesses and the people that will start businesses. So we'll get right into it. I'll introduce you to my friend, my brother, my spiritual mentor.
That's so many titles,
Mr. Kito Johnson. He is the CEO and broker of Buy and Sell Inc. And I'll just let him give a little more information about himself. But he's someone that I definitely have a lot of respect for. He loves to help people. He's helping tons of people get going in business and helping the people understand what it is to create generational wealth. So we'll just jump right into it. So Mr. Johnson, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Who you are, what you do.
Okay, certainly. Well, first of all, I want to say I am honored to be on your first real estate investing show, Facebook Live, and it's a pleasure. And I want you to know that I have just as much respect for you as you do for me. You're a veteran in the business, and
that means I made a lot of mistakes.
Well, your mistakes help people like me. Right?
Absolutely.
I often say, it's a smart person will learn from his mistakes. A wise person will learn from the mistakes of others.
Absolutely.
And so I appreciate you being willing to share the ups and the downs. That's what it's all about. So I appreciate you very much. I thank you for who you represent in my life.
Thank you.
I am Kito Johnson. I am the owner of Buy and Sell Inc. I've been in real estate since I was 20 years old. I got a lot of titles, right? None of those really matter. What matters most is what type of impact are we making. I've been in the industry for, again, 20 years. I've done anything from buy and hold to fix and flip to wholesaling to purchasing for equity funds, acquisition management. The list goes on and on. And like you, I've made a whole lot of mistakes. But those mistakes is what brings us to where we are. So, I have a brokerage here in the Atlanta market. Through my brokerage, Buy and Sell Inc., we manage a number of agents, and our specialty, our niche, is working with those who are real estate investors. We also have a wing of our company that does do some traditional real estate as well. I have a company that does fix and flips and renovations, and I also have a company that buys property to hold on to for long-term wealth and management and appreciation and generational wealth. So that's a little bit about me. I'm, again, happy to be here.
Thank you very much, sir. And speaking of generational wealth, I mean, we'll get to that, but I want to talk a little bit more about some of the things that we've discussed in the past about the importance of people educating themselves and a little bit about the importance of having a mentor in basically in anything. I believe it's important to have a mentor in life. You should have someone that you can go to and talk about different things that, because there's no one person that knows it all, and we understand the word says that people perish for lack of knowledge or lack of vision, in other words. So could you talk about why it's important to have a mentor, why it's important to have someone that you could go to have a conversation with just about, life in general, and then, what it means to have someone, to have a mentor in business as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've kind of touched on that a little bit already. It's important to have a mentor, one, because they can walk you through and help you navigate some of the landmines that absolutely exist in not just real estate, really, but anything that you're involved in. So a mentor can assist you with learning from their mistakes and getting to the finish line a lot quicker based on their previous experiences. I think it's absolutely essential. As a matter of fact, I've seen people get involved in the business and find themselves at a place where they ultimately fail or end up quitting because they don't have the right mentors or people on their team to assist them through the process. Mentors do a number of things. They not only help you navigate, but they also are there to encourage you along the way, right? And so I think it's definitely necessary. One of the problems or challenges I'll say that we have in this industry, real estate investing, is there are a number of people who are jumping into business, right? And we can attribute that to successful shows like HGTV or networks like HGTV, right? So we turn on the TV and we think, oh, I can do that.
Well, I have to say I appreciate HGTV because that's how real life real estate investing was born.
Really? Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
Because so many people think that that's kind of what happens. Like you can rehab a house in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And get it sold.
Yeah, exactly.
Or an hour show.
Right.
But I just decided that it's very important that people understand everything, the pieces that are involved in what we do. I mean, we're talking about from the point of finding what we consider a deal.
Right.
Because, that's becoming a little questionable now what people think a deal is.
Exactly.
And the importance of how to negotiate it, how to put it under contract, and then how to hire the people to do the work to the property. And that process, I think, is what a lot of people miss about what it takes to become successful, as we'll call it, in what we do. And you said something very important, is staying with it. So many people get in and they see what it's really about, and they quit.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have that upfront knowledge. I mean, you can't always have the upfront knowledge, but they don't have a mentor,
right,
and someone to take them through and navigate them through those landmines that you talked about,
right,
and show them that this is what could possibly happen.
Right.
But if you had someone to guide you through, you could possibly avoid some of those things.
Exactly.
But you and I know, even with us being experienced,
yeah,
that some of those things are unavoidable.
Some of the stuff is just called life, right?
Absolutely.
Life just comes, you deal with it, and you keep it moving.
Yeah. That's very important. I mean, and so one of the things that I know we had a conversation about not too long ago is I'll reference something I was learning about, the importance of investing in yourself, and most times we as teachers, we want to invest knowledge in the people. We want to invest some type of information in the people to help them even understand that there are possibilities of landmines to come. How do we? Because we understand that we've went through the bumps and bruises, and we've experienced those things. So that knowledge that we've obtained is valuable information. Would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's valuable information, and we got the scars to prove what we've experienced, to show that now if you can do a thing, you can teach a thing.
Right.
How do we go from helping people so much and providing them information, and still, even with information, everybody's not going to use what you tell them,
right.
Unless you take them by the hand.
Right.
What type of value would you say could be placed on taking someone by the hand, or is there any value? Because I understand most people think that it's easy to go on YouTube and Google information, but not understanding that if they don't have that guidance, that real guidance, because not all of the information is step by step. You'll have a certain part that's step by step, and then you learn how to wholesale step by step, but you don't learn how to write a contract.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Would you say that it's important for people to understand that there is going to be an investment in the education that they need, as opposed to thinking that all the free information is worth it for them to go through and make those mistakes? What would you say to that?
Well, first of all, I think you pay for education regardless.
Absolutely.
One way or another. Education is something you were going to pay for in this business. Yes. You're either going to pay for it up front, and you're going to get the right education and the right mentors in the process, or you're going to have to pay for it through the school of hard knocks.
Yes.
You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. But at the end of the day, you're going to pay for education.
Yes.
And I think that's something that investors, and I almost said that newbie investors need to know, but really it's not just newbie investors. You know, we as experienced investors, we are consistently investing in people who are at a place that we desire to be.
Yes.
I mean, I know you flipped probably 100 houses last year and made at least $1 million, right? But so then for you it becomes who made $2 million, right? Who flipped 200 houses, and so those are the types of people that we want to connect with. Yes. But regardless, at the end of the day, you're going to pay for education, and it's essential.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because oftentimes people look at those people that have accomplished certain things, and they say somewhere or another, I want to be like that person.
Right.
And they don't often understand what it took for that person to get to be like that person is.
Right.
You know, and investing in, going through the school of hard knocks and having to pay for education. I talk to some people about even investing in a book. You know, they say, well, I signed up for audible.com. This is no plug for audible.com or anything.
Right, not to become affiliates.
Right, exactly. Got to definitely sign up for the affiliate. But it is $14 a month. And a bill like that, it's something I forget. I forgot it up yet. I probably have like 10 credits that I haven't used on audible.com. Right. But I talk to people about even investing in books that you can. Somebody says, no, we're not with Renata, so I want to make sure.
Oh, right.
No, we're not. I talk to people about investing in books. And people say, well, that's $14 a month. I said, well, what is it worth to you to even know the things that you shouldn't do? Right. And I think that's what gets missed oftentimes when people look at the investments in education, is that how much it costs as opposed to how much it's worth.
Right. That's very good.
Yeah. They look at, $14 a month. Well, I won't say it's nothing. It's something to somebody. It's something to me. That could be some diapers for my son. Right.
A few Big Macs.
Right. But at the same time, I'd rather invest that $14 a month and know what it's going to take for me to own the McDonald's. Exactly. Right. You know what I mean? Exactly. Or be the diaper factory owner. That kind of thing. And I think a lot of times people miss that investment. They look at it being a cost as opposed to an investment. Is there something we could say to the folks for those people that may think about cost as opposed to investment? What could we say to them about transitioning from that mindset of thinking about how something costs as opposed to how much it's worth? What can we say to them?
Well, I think you just said it. We have to ask ourselves, if I do invest in this, aside from what the cost is, if I do make an investment in this, first of all, it's an investment. You got to see it like that. Right. But if I do make this investment, then the question becomes, what do I expect to happen on the back end? Right. So then the cost to get involved becomes very minimal. If it's going to cost me $5,000, just throw around the number. If it's going to cost me $5,000 to be involved in something, or $500, how much of a return makes it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if I invest $500 and make $600, there's still a return on the investment, right? But in the scope of what we're talking about, a minimal investment in real estate training and education can pay you over and over and over again. It's really hard to put a real value on.
You're absolutely right.
I went to an event last year. No, it was a networking event, and I thought twice about going, because just the registration was $1,995 for a 3-day event. And this wasn't even education. This was a networking event. So I was paying $2,000 just to go shake hands. Right. So I'm like,
you might be shaking some $1 billion heads though.
And that's exactly what happened.
Right. Okay.
And I promise you, from that event last May until we're still in May, from 12 months to where we are right now, I cannot put a dollar amount on how many times that $2,000 came back to me. I'm talking 100+ times over.
Absolutely.
So you have to. Another thing that I think is a challenge for us, if real estate it's a business, right? You can't see this like a hobby.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you see this like a business, anything that every business owner understands, they have to make investments in their business. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And until you get to the place where you're open and willing to make those types of investments, you really are not qualified for the thing you say you want, right? Oh, I want to own 50 properties, but you want to invest $500 or $1,000, then you're not because folks who own 50 properties, they're not thinking twice about something like that. And it's really it really is a mindset shift that has to happen. And until you see yourself in the position to be able to write a $50 or $500 or $5,000 check without thinking twice about it. If you can't see yourself doing that, you're not ready for that kind of income or wealth.
Wow, that's some deep stuff right there. And that's so important for people to be able to understand. It's a mindset shift. And I'm thinking about. I was having a conversation with a gentleman some time ago where we were talking about doing a risk-reward assessment. And I think many times people miss that. They miss, like you said, what is it going to be worth? Even the $1,900 to go to a networking event, most people with, I would say, common knowledge, if you will, wouldn't think about, like, wow, why would I pay? They probably first thought is, why would I pay $1,900 to go to a networking event? Not understanding that one relationship,
just
one relationship in that event can be worth, like you said, 10 times more than what you invested in going to it. I had a friend of mine who invited me to go to an event in North Carolina. So we had to get on a plane. He said, yeah, we're going to go to this event. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know how much it costs. He's saying we're going to go. I think I'm a guest. I'm going to go with him. So I get there and he gives me the bill. I say, wait, I didn't know I had to pay for this.
See, that's how you go. You got the wealthy mentality, right? Right. I don't know. It doesn't even matter how much. I'll figure it out later.
Well, see, that's before I knew I had to pay for it.
Right.
But now I didn't realize I had to pay for it until the end of the event.
Okay.
But I will tell you this though. I kind of had an idea. I was prepared to pay for it. Let me say, just in case, I had to. I was prepared to pay for it. But
it's one of those things where you didn't want to ask.
I didn't want to ask.
You were sure to have somebody. I get it.
Like, do I have to pay for this? Yeah, you got to pay for it. But I didn't ask, But I will say that information. I don't even know. I'm gonna tell you, I can't remember how much it cost. I think it was maybe $1,000. I can't remember how much it cost. But that information. The worth of it is much more than what I paid for it. Okay? But what I can also say is that the knowledge that I obtained from there, that was a year ago. I can use that information 10 years beyond. And I think about the investment that people are not willing to pay, I say pay. Some people say pay. I say invest. When people are not willing to make that investment, they oftentimes will miss the opportunities that they could potentially have down the line for not making an investment on the front end. I grew up, thinking that an investment in some wheels on my car was going to give me a return. A lot of unwanted attention is what it got me. But I think if we can help people some kind of way understand the transition or the mindset change from the cost versus investment or the risk versus reward assessment. I think if people were willing to make that mindset shift, of course, with the key word being willing, I think we can get a lot more people to become successful in any venture that they get involved in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we got to get past the cost of something. And that kind of brings me into the generational.
Well, before we jump there, so I just had a thought. A thought. Really, what we're dealing with is, in a lot of cases, individuals don't see themselves as being worth the investment.
Wow.
Now, really, we're talking on maybe perhaps on a subconscious level.
I hope that doesn't hurt somebody's feelings, but that's real talk, though.
Yeah, because we have to write checks on a weekly basis for something that we don't think twice about.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times when it comes to us, we think that I'll do that later, or I can't afford that right now. But if we shifted our thought process to say, you know what, I'm worth this investment.
Yes.
And out of all the things that I've ever done that I've wasted money on or that I've lost money on, I think I'm going to try me this time. You know what, I heard, and this was years ago, but I heard Bishop T.D. Jakes say something. He talked about how when he had written the book, Woman, Thou Art Loose. And he said that a publisher said to him, they said, you know, we think you have something here. And they said, you know, we can take this book to market and get it published for you, but it's going to cost you $15,000. And Bishop Jake said, he talked about how long he had been struggling, and he said that he and his wife had just saved up, and they had $15,000.
Wow.
And the struggle within himself that it took for him to actually say, you know what, I'm going to invest in this. He wrote the check for $15,000, invested in himself, and I mean, do we need to talk about how that's paid off?
Right. I mean, it turned into a movie.
It turned into a movie, a conference that packs the North Dome, the World Congress Center, the Phillips Arena. I mean, the list goes on and on. A stage play.
Yes.
To a connection with Tyler Perry. To Tyler Perry going to a church writing a check for $1 million.
Wow.
I mean, really.
Now imagine if he had made that $15,000.
$15,000 investment.
You know, and the scary thing, I'll say scary thing, I've seen people invest $30,000 in some things. And I think the scariest part is not the investment many times, is the information that people will obtain. Either they're afraid of the information, either they're afraid of what they're not going to do with that information. We know people that buy different courses and things like that, and they sit on the shelf and collect dust. I think the one thing is, and you said it, that they're probably not putting value on themselves for the investment initially, but most people are afraid of success.
Right.
When you pay, I mean, when I bought the Carlton Sheets course 20 odd years ago, that $300, I was afraid to spend that money. And the scary part is, I had to borrow it.
Right.
I had to borrow the money to buy the course. And I was thinking, like, what if I borrow this money and I get this course and I mess it up and nothing happens? But I had to set my mind, even in my ignorance then, you know, because I was quite ignorant 20-some years ago. Not that I was foolish, it's just that I didn't have a lot of knowledge at the time. Are you two a couple? No.
Well, we're partners.
Definitely. We're very good friends. Very good friends. And that course, I decided that if I'm going to spend somebody else's money, you know, we learned about OPM, other people's money. If I'm going to spend somebody else's money, I'm definitely going to do everything I can to not only just get them a return on investment, but also get a return on investment for myself. So I studied that course for a whole year. And that was, you know, like I said, that was 20 years ago. I didn't, you know, pull the trigger on it until a couple years later, but now it's paid off from that foundation. Some people don't even remember who Carlton Sheets is. You know, some people say he was this, that, or the other. Whatever you say, a majority of real estate investors today can probably say they cut their teeth on Carlton Sheets' course. And to say that now I have the experience of being, to say I'm a 15 plus year veteran in real estate investing, that's where it all started for me. And it was because I decided before I even borrowed the money, I made a decision that I'm going to invest it and I'm going to get a return on my investment. I didn't know that return would be 15 years later. Isn't that something?
That's
you know, that's huge for me, as I'm sure many, you know, like you talked about the investment that T.D. Jakes made. I mean, look at what it turned into for him. You know?
Immeasurable.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I say about going to educating ourselves. I mean, I've gone to so many different educational seminars.
Yeah.
Some paid, some not paid. I got a lot more value out of the ones that were paid because, and I'll say this, they knew that they were offering something that would be of value. Not to say that free seminars don't give you value, but it's something that even the information that I got from the things that I paid. I mean, I don't know the most that I paid for education. I can't tell you how much over the years that I paid for education. I'm talking about 15 years, and I'm still paying for education.
Right.
Because I understand that now that the investment that I make today could last me for 15, 20 some odd years.
Absolutely.
And while at the time I was making the investment, I didn't quite know that then, I would do it again over and over again. Because I mean, like I said, doing what we do, we make some mistakes. And and that's life. If you keep on living, you're going to make mistakes. But if you have an opportunity to learn ahead of time, what to potentially navigate around, or even have a mentor to say, hey, listen, what do I do about this situation? That's invaluable. So I mean, that's what I say about that. To get people to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very important to have a mentor. It's very important to go to get the information. I was listening to Jim Rohn when he said some people are checking the root while others are picking the fruit.
Right.
Well, people are watching YouTube and Google and stuff like that, studying, what they consider studying. What we do as it relates to real estate investing, some of them are actually going to these seminars and connecting with people and shaking hands and getting an opportunity to be mentored by someone, and they're now picking the fruit as opposed to the people that are studying the root. That was so phenomenal.
That's good.
So I can't wait to use that again.
That's very good. So now that you've used it publicly, now I'm going to start using it.
Well, I did give Jim Rohn his credit the first time, but the next time it's mine.
Yeah.
And then
So
you can do the same for me.
Yeah, I'm going to say just like Glen Glasper said.
So what I want to do is, I think we're at the halfway mark of where we are. We're about 30 minutes into it. I want to see if we can open it up for some questions. I think we probably had some people come on and post some stuff that we probably missed. So I want to see if we got some people that have some questions for us, for Mr. Johnson. Because he's been an entrepreneur, since he was 20 years old. I used to see. I guess I was an entrepreneur at 12 too. I was cutting grass. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
I probably couldn't spell it then either.
Exactly.
I could have missed that question. Any questions from anybody?
Hey bro, how's it going? It's going well. It's going great.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and go on. I see we have Eduardo joined us. Mr. I Stay Ready's on the line. Now, this is another situation I was in. I was at a seminar speaking with a friend of mine, Dr. David Anderson, at one of his events. And I said to the people, we were there talking, and he's very knowledgeable in what he does. And I said, why is it that when we get people in the room or online at this, in this juncture, that you have people that's full of knowledge, and when you ask people, do they have any questions? Hardly anybody raises their hand. I said, why is that? I said, why is it that, first of all, it was a free event, so now you have an opportunity to, we invited you here to pull from us, pull from us. And one young lady said that maybe it's because they don't know what to ask.
Yeah.
And I agree. Most people, a lot of times, we don't know what we don't know.
That's good. Very good.
But I think that the very simple question would be, is if we're talking about anything that you're interested in as it relates to real estate, as it relates to building wealth, as it relates to getting your finances in order, as it relates to even fixing your credit, whatever the case may be. If we're talking about any of that that's relative to something that you want to accomplish, the simple question is, how?
Absolutely. And somebody just asked the how question. How can I invest without my own money?
You want to take that one?
Sure, that's a great question. First of all, you got to know that you absolutely can invest without money. I teach a principle of really sitting down and asking yourself, where do you stand in 3 areas? Where do you stand with your time? How much time do you have? Where do you stand with money? How much money do you have, if any? Where do you stand with your credit? How good is your credit, or how bad is your credit? There's really no right or wrong answer to any of those 3 questions. But you do need to do a very accurate assessment to know where you stand. Once you determine or figure out where you stand in those 3 areas, then that allows you to determine what strategy to apply. In real estate investing, the go-to strategy many times ends up being wholesaling. And I mean, it'll take 10 more Facebook Lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
to talk about wholesaling, right? But there are ways that you can get involved, and wholesaling is one of those ways. You know, very minimal money out of pocket when it comes to marketing. Of course, you can ramp up, and there are some things you can do that cost more to market, but then there's some absolutely free marketing ways. You put properties under contract. I know wholesalers that put properties under contract with $0 earnest money. It's one of those types of strategies where wherever you are starting, whatever level you're starting at, you can absolutely get involved and be successful. The other thing is, as we've said earlier, OPM or OPR, other people's resources, right? You connect with people that have cash, right? When you find yourself in a situation where you need it, you connect with somebody who has it and form some type of relationship, partnership, joint venture, and you make it happen.
That sounds like a scripture I'm reminded of, James 4:2. You have not because you ask not.
Because you ask not. Yes, absolutely.
Or as we're more familiarly known as the closed mouths don't get fed.
Closed mouths don't get fed. And you know, can I add to that? Of course, I'm not going to add to the scripture. I can't add to the scripture. I'm not going to touch that at all. But I will say, however, sometimes, because, you know, back to the whole mentoring and networking thing, if you don't connect with the right people, sometimes people are asking, but they're asking the wrong folks.
Yes.
They're asking the wrong people, you know, and if you're getting all your education and your mentorship from YouTube, you can't even ask. All you're doing is watching.
Yes.
Right? So you gotta surround yourself around people who have the answers.
Yeah, that brings me to another interesting saying. You are the equivalent of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Man, I live by that. Yep, I live by so true.
Somebody told me if you're hanging around 4 broke people, chances are you're the 5th one.
You're the 5th one. Absolutely.
So if that's the case, if you don't have somebody that you can call on and ask, you know, can I borrow $10,000 or $20,000?
Right.
Then it's probably time to get a new group.
Absolutely.
You know, not to say there's anything wrong with your group. It's just that if you're trying to get to a different level and nobody in that group is expressing that type of interest,
right,
then you probably have outgrown that group. Right.
Which is why I call you on a regular basis and say, Glenn, let me hold 20 grand.
I gotta give you back 100. But that's really important. That's an important place to be. To be able to have not just people to call on for money, but somebody that you can call on to even share some wisdom. Share some knowledge. I mean, you called me up the other day and put me in my place about something I was doing wrong, and you have to be smart enough to receive that information. Yeah. Some people say you have to have thick skin. I think you have to be smart enough and wise enough to know that if somebody's sharing something with you, especially if you know that they care. Right. Most people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Absolutely. And I know that we have a relationship, where I can call you and say, hey, this is probably how we should do this, or you can call me and say, get it together, Glenn. You doing some foolish stuff, and I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna listen. I mean, because it just makes sense to be able to have someone or a group of people. Exactly. There's a few other people that have called me and told me I need to get certain things in order. Right. I'm not saying it because everything is messed up about life.
No, absolutely not. We do that for each other, right?
We do that for each other. And it's important to have those types of people. I mean, a couple of guys know why I'm talking about. Even with the event that we just hosted on Saturday, this past Saturday, the Shark Tank style real estate investing. We'll talk about that a little bit. I was going to postpone that. And a couple of my brothers said, why? And that's all it took for me to say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. I couldn't think of, I had a laundry list of excuses. One of them being my son's birthday was on the very same day. I said, wait a minute, I can organize this. I can fix this. I can make it happen. Absolutely. And it just took them speaking into my life and speaking knowledge, speaking wisdom to me and saying, let me go ahead and make this event happen.
Right.
And it was a success. Right. Actually somebody sold a deal at the Shark Tank event. Right. We're going to be doing more coverage on that when we go to the closing table. But it's back to that, you are the equivalent of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yep. It's very important to have some people around you that either you can speak into their lives and they can receive it, or they can speak into your lives and receive it.
Absolutely.
I don't know who's that. I don't know who said that. This is your most liked video yet. I don't know who that is. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Any more questions, comments, concerns?
Somebody says, what have you found is the best way to find properties and sellers? Is there a best way? I think there are a number of ways, right? So we could talk about probate court. We could talk about divorce court. We could talk about foreclosure notices. We could talk about bandit signs on the road. We could talk about mailing to absentee owners. I mean, there are a number of ways.
Door knocking. People still do that.
Yeah. I've never wanted to do that.
Yeah, me either.
But there are people that do it and it works. I think that whichever way you find that speaks, just the same person said, what's your preference? My preference lately has been probate. A lot of deals have come from probate. And still absentee owners, mailers to absentee owners. But I think whatever way you choose, you should master it. Which kind of reminds me of a point that I was going to make earlier when you were talking about, having a coach or a mentor. I think one of the things that a coach or a mentor helps you do is focus. Because I've seen it over and over and over again. Folks will go online and watch a video, and today they're a wholesaler, and then they'll find that Robert Kiyosaki's coming to town, and they'll go to his seminar, and then they're going to be a landlord, and then they'll find out somebody else is coming talking about creative strategy, so they'll go do that, and then they'll come to my meetup next week, and they're talking about tax lien investing, and now they're a tax lien investor, and every time you see them, they're doing something different. And they're learning about something different, and they absolutely never do anything. Yeah, or if they do, it's very small successes here and there.
It's funny that they go to all those courses and they have all this wealth of knowledge, and now they end up being a coach.
Yeah.
I've never done anything.
I need you to do a few deals. I need you. At
least one.
Right. At least
say, this is what I've done.
Right. At least one a year. Right. The kind of deals we do in 2017 might not work in 2018 or later. And that's what a lot of people do. They go out and they find what they consider success, and they do about 5 deals, and they make $50,000, and now they're a coach, right? And so for the next 20 years, they're teaching what they did back in 1988, and it does not work anymore.
Brings up a good point, because we took, is there a market saturated and can it be done virtually? Okay, I'm gonna answer that question, but when I got back into real estate investing, of course, you said you weathered the storm through the crash, but I took a hiatus. I went on a hiatus.
I took a small hiatus.
I took my money and put it under the pillow and said, I'll get to it when I get to it. But when I was coming back into it, the first thought that I had was I wanted to teach people because I had such a passion about it, because I believe a lot of what the crash resulted in was with people who didn't have the knowledge, especially with people with those mortgages. They weren't educating people on how to turn those mortgages around. So I want to get back and I want to teach. But I said, wait a minute, I haven't done it in a while. So although I have a grasp on a lot of basic knowledge, it wasn't applicable to the market at that time. So I said, wait a minute, maybe I'll get back and do some deals and, start getting back more acclimated to what the current market trends are and what's happening in the current market. And then, I'll go back into teaching. And that's kind of what I did. But what was the question? Did I miss it?
It was about virtual wholesaling.
Virtual wholesaling. Well, they asked about
and is the market saturated?
In my opinion, I think the whole saturation thing is in the mind. When you see a lot of people doing it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's saturated.
Right.
If you understand that the people that are doing it can be your partners as opposed to your competition.
Absolutely.
I look at it as, somebody said once upon a time, and I can't remember who it is, so I'm going to claim this as my own. Collaboration beats competition. So as opposed to saying those wholesalers are doing this amount of business and I can't get into the market where they are and do it there, I'm going to try and do it somewhere else. Why not partner with them? Because there's a such thing that we've come to understand called co-wholesaling. And there's something that each party can bring to the table, whether it's a buyer or a seller.
Right.
And this is a matter of marrying the two.
Right.
And while we are, if we're smart and we're continuously marketing and we're continuously being consistent in what we do, whether it's marketing for buyers or marketing for sellers, I think because some buyers' situation may change from one month to the next.
Exactly.
This month I'm a buyer, next month I might not be.
Right.
Or this month I'm not a buyer, this month I might be.
Right.
Or there might be new buyers that are coming into the market.
Exactly.
So looking at it from that standpoint, you can't really say that it's saturated if it's ever evolving.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Very, very good.
And also the virtual wholesaling piece is it's about connecting. It's about connecting. The same thing, connecting with people in the different areas. I've done a little bit of virtual wholesaling, and I'm actually looking at doing some more now. And it's about connecting with people in those different markets. The same as you would. I mean, you're not going to be able to go and shake a hand or anything, but someone in a different state or a different market that's doing the same thing that you're doing has the same basic, or they should have the same basic grasp of what you do.
Right.
And you can say to them, I can bring buyers to your market.
Right.
And you market for buyers in that market.
Right.
Or I can bring sellers. You know how to market in the market that you're in.
Right.
Just market in a different market and bring sellers to the buyers that are in that market. Because they may be doing something a little different than you. So I don't think that saturation, in my opinion, is a major issue because there are tons of houses that are still sitting. And wholesalers, unfortunately, I'll take some issue with this myself. Wholesalers are not always as consistent as they need to be. There are people that I know, and I hope they're watching, I'm talking about them, have a list that they collected 3 weeks ago that they haven't reached out to the people that they're trying to buy from.
Yep.
So while they're a wholesaler in the market, if you have a lot of them that are not doing things consistently, if you start doing it consistently, you're going to, for lack of a better way of saying it, beat the competition. So you have to be consistent in doing what you do as it relates to your business. Because like you said, you can't treat it like a hobby.
Can't.
If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get hobby income.
Exactly.
You have to treat it like a business. Just as if you were going to work and the boss said that you have to have a report done by the day, you can't have 2 lines done and turn it in.
Right, and not keep your job.
Right. So look at this as your business, and if you're going to do it as a business, get things done when you say you're going to get them done.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
Absolutely. Very good point.
Somebody asked a question, I think I missed it. Based on your experience, are you coming to another real estate market crash? I'll let you take that one. Mine is going to be real simple. But
well, I think the answer is yes.
Yes,
I think
that's
cycles. Cycles are apparent. You can go all the way back to 1800s, right, or 1900s, and there are cycles that come. I think the real estate cycle, they say, is about 8 or 9 years before you kind of repeat and start back over. But I think another crash is inevitable.
Inevitable. I was going to say the same thing.
Now we don't have a crystal ball to know exactly when and how bad it's going to be. Right? It may not be as bad as it was before, but the reality is, the flip side of everything I just said is you absolutely have time to jump in right now and make plenty of money, so that when the crash comes, you can still make plenty of money.
Absolutely.
Because it's all about learning how to surf, how to ride the waves. I don't care what's going on in the market at any given time. Somebody somewhere is making money, and so we need to do what we need to do now, so we can stack up some cash, so that when it crashes again. I got a friend who I still don't know how many houses he bought for $5,000 in 2008. I mean, he has them boarded up, and he renovates them one at a time and moves somebody in, and then the next day I talk to him, I just started on my house over here. And he just stacked up all of this stuff because he had some cash.
Sound like what you're doing.
Well,
I'm ready to make one day. That house, yeah, I've had it for 6 months. Don't worry about it.
So we got to learn how to ride the waves, right?
Yeah.
And so when it crashes, if it crashes, when it crashes, okay, we just shift.
Absolutely. And that's all it is. We have to understand that shift is coming. The mistake I made during the crash, everybody talks about what they lost. The only thing I lost was pretty much my mind. And I say that because I was fortunate. I had a deal that I sold my very last. I had like 17 houses, and I sold them through the course of 2006 and 7. And I sold my last one February 2008.
Wow!
And I made a nice chunk of money in February 2008. But the thing that I didn't do was reinvest.
Yeah.
I should have took that money that I made and went and bought those $5,000 houses. Even in Atlanta, especially where I'm from, Detroit, I didn't take advantage of any of that. I said, you know what? Nobody else is doing it. I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
I paid bills, and that money ran out a year or two later.
Right.
So and somebody asked the question, what would you do different? And I guess I don't know if it's to prepare for the next crash or during the next crash. Stay connected, stay involved.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I kind of stayed aware of what was happening in the market, but I just didn't do anything. I stayed aware. I continued to go and network and things like that. But what I would do differently is stay connected and still look at different relationships that could be developed.
Exactly.
I know one of the things that you were able to do is you connected with the hedge funds. I would look at the possibility of working with them because a lot of wholesalers, I guess that's part of how wholesaling was born. We did wholesaling back when it was called contract assignment or assignment contract or something like that. But wholesaling came out of a lot of people being able to sell to people that were continuously buying. And there's always going to be people buying. It's just a matter of how do we get involved in that transaction.
Exactly.
So that's what I would do differently. Stay connected to buyers and sellers and whomever. Just, stay connected and still even look at, one of my issues was, I'll say I learned this from Carlton Sheets, which probably was to my detriment at the time. I wouldn't do a deal unless I made $30,000. And when it came time to make money, the small money, like the $5,000, $2,000, $3,000, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Not knowing that that's what could have paid my bills during the time.
Exactly.
So don't make that mistake. Every deal, every transaction, there's something in there that can be made.
Absolutely.
So definitely stay connected. I think we're coming up on about 50 minutes, 50-some minutes, so we'll take maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll wrap up. I don't think somebody asked a question about business credit question earlier. I can't remember exactly what it was. Did you do that?
No.
I think it was something about how important is business credit or personal credit.
So when it comes to real estate investing, credit again, going back to the top 3, time, money, and credit. The goal is eventually get to a place where you get all of them.
Right.
You know, because the more all of those you have, the more you can do, the more you can be involved, the more you can scale your business. But you don't have to have that to start. So business credit does have its place, and it is important. And you know, I've in the last year and a half, I began to focus more on that aspect of my business. I actually did a rehab with 0% financing based on some credit that I had gotten through a business builder type program. So, you know, it's necessary and it helps, and it all has its place, and you have to know when to apply it. But you won't ever be able to apply it if you don't take the foundational steps necessary to work on those things, you know, get to that place. So, yeah.
So, I think that question that came back up again, I missed it again. Looks like we got a couple people sharing their feed, which is good. Thank you for that. So this, actually, we're going to be back here live again, doing this again next week. And I want to talk a little bit about, I guess I did give a little information about real life real estate investing. What information to give to agents, Kito? That's your area.
What advice would you give to agents, Kito? Now, Leon is one of my agents. One of my top producing agents. What advice would you give me?
Right. Getting into investing.
An agent getting into investing. One absolute number one thing I would tell an agent that wants to be involved with investing is to connect with a broker who supports you in your investing activities. That is why Buy and Sell Inc. was formed. And that's our mission, to be able to support agents who want to do more than put people in their car and drive them around and show them a house and list and do open houses and things like that. Some people absolutely love that. I never enjoyed that. When I was working with Mark Spain on his investing team, when the team he started scaling his investor team back. We went from 20 investor agents all the way down to, I was number 5. And he had that conversation with me. Kito, this team is coming to a close, but I value you on the team, and I'm going to give you a choice. You choose. Do you want to be a listing agent or do you want to be a buyer's agent? And I said, I appreciate the time we spent with each other. I don't want to do either. That's not why I got my license. But you have to be with an agent, a broker rather, that supports you in investing and understands strategies and understands the language, because there are 2 totally different languages that real estate investors speak versus real estate agents speak. So you want to be with a broker that is bilingual.
Bilingual, yeah. That's good stuff. So I guess we can talk a little bit about the generational wealth summit.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that? First of all, I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to speak on the panel there and talk about real life real estate investing. I think it's so important. I think it's so important that people get out of the cloud of thinking that what we do is a fly-by-night operation where we wake up in the morning. Well, I guess kind of back in the day we did have it like that. Wake up in the morning, close the deal.
In your sleep.
Right.
Gone are the days.
Right. Those days are not here anymore.
Right.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the Generational Wealth Summit. I think that is very, 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 very necessary, especially in this day and age where people are not, especially a lot of the topics that we're covering, business credit, personal credit, financial literacy, real estate investing, things that we can do that can leave tangible wealth for our children and our children's children.
Absolutely.
I think it's so necessary to be able to have a vehicle that can help with that. Now, real estate investing is one vehicle. And I use it because I want to do several other things, as it relates to helping people. That's one of my passions. But I want to talk about what your vision was for the Generational Wealth Summit. And I guess go lead into talk about, how people can get registered and attend.
Yeah, absolutely. So the vision is quite simple. My passion is about doing something today that will benefit tomorrow. And a lot of times people are attracted to real estate. People are attracted to real estate investing because they like the idea of putting a house on contract and wholesale it and making a quick $5,000. But somebody needs to
$5,000.
$5,000.
What am I doing wrong? No, I'm just kidding.
Come on, Glenn. Show us your last settlement statement.
Move right along.
But they like the idea of making, well, or even if it's $2,000, right? But you talk to those same people 3 weeks later. Where's that $2,000? Or where's that $5,000? Somebody needs to say, hey, pump the brakes. What are you going to do today that's going to keep paying you tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Not just keep paying you tomorrow, but it's going to create something. I think that battery went dead.
Okay.
Yeah. We got all kind of devices. I wish I could see it from this angle. But what are you going to do today that's going to be beneficial tomorrow? Not just for you, though, but for the generations to follow. You said it earlier, just a few moments ago. The scripture says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children. Thank you, sir. Speaking of, he's going to be at the generational wealth summit.
Exactly. The ones who going to be dropping some serious knowledge.
Right.
We're on real estate license.
Buy your real estate license. But I was making the point, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So it really doesn't, you really can't look at either one of us and tell our level of success yet.
Right.
We got to wait till our grandchildren come along.
Oh, yes.
And if our grandchildren rise and call us blessed, if our grandchildren say, man, I'm so thankful for Grandpa Glasper, for Granddaddy Kito, that's what determines, right?
Yes.
Our true level of success or the measure of who we are. And I think it's just my passion to pause for a minute and pull people aside and have a conversation around that. Right? What can we do? There's power in numbers, right? So when we come together, the goal is to bring a conglomeration of minds together, so that we can think through some things and we can make a difference, right? So that's what the Generational Wealth Summit is all about. We've got 16. I think we added one person yesterday. I think it's 17 different speakers or presenters on that day. Angela confirmed.
Angela is rocking that.
Man, I just have to say, I'm absolutely honored to have so many amazing people who have done much more than I've accomplished, right? They've done so much in their life. To be willing to just set aside some time and come be a part of the event. 17 different people speaking from different perspectives, bringing different levels or myriads of experience together, sharing with us how they are creating generational wealth and how they are impacting the lives of people around them. And Mr. Glasper, for you to be willing to host the panel, to facilitate the panel on real life real estate investing, it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. When we were talking about the people that you spend time with the most, there are certain people in my life that when they say, you got to do this, that you don't ask questions.
Right.
You don't ask questions because it's out of the respect, that you have for people and, the relationship. I always say the thing about this business and what we do is relationships and reputation.
And if I'm not mistaken, you weren't even scheduled to be in town, were you?
I wasn't.
Changed his plans. He changed his plans to be at the summit.
Yes, listen, like I said, you said you're going to be there. I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was supposed to be traveling to New York, but, I can put that off to the day after. And, like I said, that's where I show my appreciation for not just the opportunity to come to the event, but I show my appreciation for the relationship.
Yeah.
And that's how I show, I always tell my wife, she said, I told her, when we got married, I said, how I show you I love you is I pay attention.
Right.
And when you have people in your life that you have a level of respect for and admiration, when they call, you come. Ramon took his one as well. You know, when he says, Glenn, look, I need you to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it 2 times.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, Will and Tim, you know, those guys, I told them before, you know, when we get up, they call me up and they say, listen, we need you to be here. I'm there. It's no question. I mean, it's not, let me check my schedule. That's what you do for people that, you know, you have to check with. Some people you got to check with.
Right, exactly.
You know, for people you have that kind of respect for, it's just, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, and you're one of those people, and I said, listen, I'll make it happen.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And I'll be there.
Thank you, sir.
How can they register for the Generational Wealth Summit? And are you still doing the promotion? Or?
I'm still doing the early bird. The early bird has been extended.
People should take advantage already. I don't know if I would give them a chance.
You know what?
That's just me.
And other people on my team saying, we need to kill this early bird link.
That early bird was like early 2 weeks ago.
Right. But at the moment, you can still register. I can't guarantee you can pass today, but you can still register for $97 early bird. And the thing is, Glenn, it includes breakfast and lunch.
I saw that. And you give them a free book.
And you get a copy of my free book. My newest book.
What are they paying for? They paying for the food because you should charge more.
Yeah.
Did they hear me say that?
But you know what? I can't say enough how humbled I am, because not only have the 17 of you agreed to come, but we got people that are registered from New York.
I saw that.
From Chicago.
From Milwaukee, a guy said he was coming.
Baltimore, from Tennessee, from South Carolina. So it's it's humbling. I'm excited that it's something that I've been given the charge to host. I think what excites me is the synergy that will happen. Because there are people that will say, well, I can go to Glenn's meetup and hear him, right? Or I can go to one of Kito's meetups and hear him, and I can go to this event and hear this person. But there is really something to be said about when you get 17 thought leaders in one room at one time.
Somebody said to me, familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah.
When you abuse people that you are common with.
Yes.
Commonality breeds about abuse.
Yeah.
Because I guess people say, "Oh, I can go and touch him and I can shake his hand." And that's how we are. And it's okay to be like that. But when you assemble something the way that you did, and you got people to become a part of it like you did, we're talking 17 people, and I'm sure that particular day, I know I had something to do. I'm sure out of the 17 people, these other people had something to do. But they said yes to be able to come and pour into people that, I don't know how much they need it. I know I need it, and I'm going to be there speaking. Facilitating, but I need it. And, even at the event that I had, the information that was shared with the people that were on the panel, I don't take stuff like that for granted.
Right.
Right. So I would definitely say, take advantage of this opportunity to be able to be in a room where people have taken the time to come and share this information.
Yes.
And if I might say, for the investment, it's very minimal investment for what is going to be gained. Like you said, they're getting breakfast and lunch and a free book, and the rest is going to be probably for the people to vacuum the floor when it's all over. So the bonus is the information that you're going to get.
Right. Exactly.
So I would say definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So how do they register for it?
You can go to thegenerationalwealthsummit.com. Thegenerationalwealthsummit.com. And you can register. You can still secure that $97 ticket if you do it today. Don't hesitate. Go right now, as soon as this is over. Or if you're watching from your computer, you can open this up in another browser, thegenerationalwealthsummit.com, and secure your seat.
And if he doesn't end that early bird special today, I'm going to go to his office and click the button. Because people have to, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. The value is going to be in the room.
Yeah.
So, definitely, what is this foolishness? But we'll wrap it here. Keep in contact with us. How can they get in contact with you, sir?
You can contact me by going to www.thegenerationalwealthsummit.com. That's how
Right.
you get me.
That's right. Hey, you can contact me at glennglasper.thegenerationalwealth.com.
Absolutely.
That's how you get our contact information. But yeah, definitely keep your eyes open for the next event that we're going to be doing next week. We're doing we'll be back here at noon doing the Real Life Real Estate Investing Facebook Live post, and we are hosting our next event. Real Life Real Estate Investing hosts an event every second Saturday in Norcross, Georgia at the Coconut Grill. And we will be hosting our next event as the Shark Tank style real estate investing. We're doing that again.
Okay.
It's backed by popular demand. Our last event went so well, people want us to do it again, so we'll be doing it again. That's June 10th. And we are actually we have gotten a request to come to Detroit.
Awesome.
So we'll be going to Detroit hosting a Shark Tank style real life real estate
date for
investing.
that yet? I need a reason to go back to Detroit.
June 17th.
June 17th. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I would definitely love to have you there. So keep those dates in mind. June 3rd is the Generational Wealth Summit in Roswell, Georgia.
Yes.
Okay. Check that out. Generational Wealth, thegenerationalwealthsummit.com, and you can check out Real Life Real Estate Investing on Meetup.com. Just go to Meetup.com and check out Real Life Real Estate Investing. You can also follow us at Real Life Real Estate Investing on Instagram, and you can get me as Glen E. Glasper on Facebook. And to be updated on the different events and different things that are going on, you can actually text Real Life Real Estate. That's Real Life Real Estate to 55469, and we'll keep you up to date on the different events that are going to be coming up. So, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for your time, sir. I certainly appreciate you spending this time with us today. I hope this has been valuable for the people that have joined us today. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll be back here sharing with you again on next week.
Awesome.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care. See you at the summit.